Leeds fans and every other fan, hello, a warm welcome to all Leeds TV. My name is Conor and I'm going to be taking you through a playoff specific focus today as Leeds United go up against Frank Lampard's Derby County. Got a little special guest as well towards the end, KIANS, Derby County fan channel, really good lad. I asked him a few questions, what he thinks about certain individual things, sort of like standardised questions I asked him. That'll be towards the end of the video, so Kian with some quite interesting answers regarding Leeds United, so make sure you stick with this video till the end. Also, if you wouldn't mind at this moment in time smashing that like button, it really gives me a good indication and gives all Leeds TV a good indication whether or not you guys like the videos and whether or not you actually enjoy what we're doing at this moment in time. A lot of support from you, a lot of support from opposition fans across the world, and it really is complimentary, so thank you for that. I've just been on the LS11 podcast with Ryan Wilson and Darren Harper, and it was excellent. Went through a few things, so if you haven't seen that or watched that yet, make sure you go and check that out. It was a really good podcast, a lot of laughs as well, so make sure you check that out. But yeah, let's get on to the video. So guys, here it is, the biggest game and games of Leeds United's season, going up against Derby County. Oh God, I don't know what to think. I really don't. I don't know what to think about this one. I'm going to give Derby a little bit more respect, I think, than we sort of have done in the past, and you know, 6-1 on aggregate, but they're a good team. They're a very good team. You don't make the top six without being a very good team. I think that's what a lot of people are taking out of this sort of rhetoric, that Derby County, you know, we've beaten them 6-1, so that's it, it's done. It's not the case at all. This is a completely different game, a hugely different game, you know, with the whole saga that happened last time, which I'm going to touch on. It really is a massive game, and obviously the media are going to bung this up as if it's the biggest thing since, well, Jesus is coming. It really is. It's sort of got that playoff factor, and you know, to say there's West Brom, Villa, Derby, Leeds. I don't think you've had a bigger playoff battle in a number of years. 4 absolute juggernauts in this division going lockerheads, and it's going to be a massive, massive indication of who the third best team has been in this division. I know it sounds obvious, but we all kind of want to know who out of us lot is going to be the best and who's going to come out victorious, really, just quality-wise. Leeds, form-wise, we are the worst of the 4, but against all of the other opposition within that playoff race, Leeds are top, and top by a considerable distance, beating Villa on aggregate, beating West Brom on aggregate, and beating Derby on aggregate. But positives and negatives, you know, I'm sure you all saw my Ipswich rant. If you haven't, please go check that out. Just me just going on really about my disappointments recently and where I think we should have been and where we are not. But anyway, we move on to this. We've got to get our mental state right. My mental state's still not really there yet. I'm still not in playoff mode. Spoke with Ryan on it on the LS11 podcast, and I was saying to him, I'm still not there. I can't believe we're already in the playoffs against Derby County. I'm off there at the weekend. And you know, I mean, what do we expect? What do we expect? I'd be happy with the draw, but that's not the Leeds United way, is it? We go gung-ho, and we either lose or we win, and I do think it's a weakness for us, that is. And you look at the 2019 campaign and how dire it's been, and I think that is one of the reasons behind it. You know, 56 injuries, definitely one of the culpable reasons why it has happened, but another reason is I do feel like Leeds, and we play the beautiful football, but I sometimes I would love to shut games out and be able to maybe defend a little bit more resolutely instead of just having 2 defenders there, you know, when we're pressing forward, and then just being so susceptible to that counter-attack. Something I touched on in my Ipswich video. You know, when Ipswich are scoring 3 goals against you, you've definitely got to be asking questions regardless of the occasion, regardless of an end-of-season friendly type of game. Doesn't matter. Ipswich are scoring 3 goals against you. No disrespect to Ipswich, but yeah, you've got some problems there. But hopefully it's just a mentality thing. Hopefully the lads were just thinking to themselves, well, we're in the playoffs, we've not really got much to play for. So, and hopefully the mentality is going to be switched up a little bit here, because it needs to be. Leeds have to get back on form and quickly. You know, this is the business end of the season now. Are we going to let this all go to waste with 3 games to go? People calling us bottle jobs don't really watch football. Sheffield United have been the best team, as of Norwich. They've been the best teams. It's not about being bottle jobs in this division. It's about quality teams. making that top two, and you've just got to say, it doesn't matter how long we've been in that top two, Norwich and Sheffield United were the better teams, and they deserve to go up as the top two. So that's not been bottle jobs, that's just been, that's those two being far superior to us. We've kept playing our football, we've kept going. The form has dipped, of course it has, but I don't think it's physical, because we go to the end of every single game, we're pressing, we're still good, we're still creating chances. But I do think maybe something up here needs to be questioned a little bit. You know, you've got a squad that's been together for a couple of years now. They've not been through the best phases together. You know, you've got the likes of Villa in that playoff race. They've been in the playoffs. They've been in the playoff final. Derby have got a cohort of players there who have been in that environment before the playoffs. You know, Derby renowned for, let's be right, if you guys are watching, Derby fans, for being bottle jobs within that playoff race. You know, 6th, 4th, 4 separate times, and obviously West Brom being in the Premier League for a number of years now. So Leeds probably the most inexperienced out of that four. Will that play a part? I don't know. I mean, you look at Sheffield United, you look at Norwich, and you know, on paper we've probably got as good a squad, you know, value for player wise, but maybe the mentality has let us down a little bit. But bottle jobs, I think it's just a little bit too much of an obvious statement, you know, that people like to brand us with, and I don't think it's that accurate, because I think we've been that good this season. I don't think you can be bottle jobs and finishing the playoffs, to be honest, and that goes for every club. But anyway, getting on to Derby County, you know, we've obviously in the previous 2 games when we've played them, in the game that started the season, the differentials are, we had Samu Saiz playing, who that's potentially the best individual performance I've ever seen in a Leeds shirt. He was that good. He was terrific that day. Destroyed Derby, created space for Click, created space for Roof, created space for Alioski, created space for Hernandez, and obviously himself. They focused massively on him. I remember him giving Bradley Johnson the absolute run around that game. Obviously things changed. We played them after the whole Spygate saga, and we dominated that game as well. But you know, there was a massive, it was probably one of the only games actually Leeds have played this season where the left side looked ridiculously strong. Alioski, it was the first time we played him sort of left wing back, looked absolutely terrific. Harrison had a really good game as well, and Derby they couldn't live with us. They couldn't live with our intensity, the high press, and the quality. Really, every time we went forward, we looked like scoring. We had a chance that hit the post just wide with a couple of them. I watched the highlights this morning once again just to get a little bit of an indication. Derby, I mean, apart from a Tom Lawrence strike, which was quite laboured, they didn't really have anything. And, you know, but the differentials are Leeds don't have that left side now. The balance is definitely altered. I do think having a left-sided player on that left is massive. It gives, you're able to open your body up, you're able to see the full pitch instead of having to cut inside continuously because you're not confident on your left foot like Berardi and Dallas unfortunately have to do. So Leeds are going to be playing more towards the middle, and now if Derby pack that middle out, I think we're in trouble. But there's definitely different tactics Derby can go with here, and it's really interesting looking at it from a strategical point of view. Leeds going to have to play the Dallas or Berardi there, which obviously, like I've just said, they're going to have to cut inside. But are Derby going to go fire with fire? Now, if they do play fire with fire, they are more susceptible to be beaten over these 2 legs for me. If they play the Frank Lampard way, which in a sense it's admirable because Frank Lampard's got young players trying to play football, and I respect that massively. But over 2 games, he's gone head-to-head with Leeds and played the exact same way. And he's got picked off. You know, the last time we played Derby, we also weren't in massive veins of form. You know, we weren't in an incredible vein of form, you know, recently beaten by Hull City at home, and we really needed a spark back, and we had that against Derby. So a lot of people are coming into this, a lot of opposition fans saying, well, Leeds have been poor, but we do always have that bounce back. You know, we lost to QPR, came back, smacked West Brom. We seem to be better in the bigger games against smaller opposition, you know, your Millwalls, your Ipswich, your Birminghams, your Blackburns, you know, no disrespect. And when I mean smaller, I don't mean stature of clubs. I just mean not smaller as in, I guess, littler league positions this year, bottom half of the table. When they come to town, we seem to struggle because we can't break them down. But I do think Lampard's going to go blow for blow with Leeds, because why would he throw all the ethos of what he's done this year with Derby County, what he's built with Derby County, and just throw it out the window for 1 game? But at the same time, this is the most important game of Frank Lampard's career as a manager so far, and he knows how to play the big games. He's won Champions Leagues, he's won Premier Leagues. So how is he going to come into this game? If he comes to this, I do think if he comes into this game, once again, blow for blow, hell for leather, then as Derby fans, I'd be questioning it. Because like I said, the rhetoric of him keeping playing that lovely football is excellent. I understand that. But I think when you've been schooled twice by the same team, you've got to alter. And I also think we've got to show respect to Derby County. I think we've got to alter how we play, definitely. Because I also think it's going to be a different Derby County to that of what we've played before. You know, Harry Wilson's going to be back. He wasn't available for the game at Ellen Road. But, you know, positively, I think Martin Waghorn's back. And I think with Waghorn, they've sort of found that centre forward. They've found it. They've not really had it with Jack Marriott, kind of small and slight, in and out the squad. He's done okay. Dave Nugent, a little bit over the hill now. I don't think he's scored in about a year. Coming up against Leeds, you know what's going to happen. But yeah, no, I think if they've got Waghorn fit for that second leg, that's going to be massive for them. But if they've got him fit for the first one, I know it's ligament injury, but that's huge, because Waghorn's sort of the focal point now. He's a lot more physical, can run the channels quite well, actually. He's not a bad player, Waghorn. I liked him at Ipswich as well. But we'll have to see if he's fit, and that's going to change the dynamic of Derby's side. But if I was Lampard, I'd be thinking a little bit more strategically about this one. You know, you sit in against Leeds and we struggle, but at the same time, I think we can go at Derby's defence. A lot of Derby fans really rate Richard Keogh. Every time Leeds have played against Richard Keogh, I mean, maybe it's just the Leeds effect, but in the past 4 or 5 years, I've never noticed the guy being able to keep up with our strikers, whether or not it's been Chris Wood in the past. You know, that's just one off the top of my head. Ross McCormack, I've just never really seen him be able to sort of strap Leeds in and secure them, you know, as him being the focal point of the back line. Tomori, I do think is a decent player, but I think up against a better centre-back partner, I think he'd have a lot, but Derby would be much better, pretty much. You know, you look at the Villa, when they've managed to change in James Chester for Tyrone Mings, and now Twanseby looks a lot better. I think if you changed out Richard Keogh for a better centre-back, I think Tomori look much better, but they don't do that. Roof's had a good game against them twice now. Can Roof come into some form against them again? You know, he scored 3 goals in 2 against them. They've got threats all over the pitch going forward. I think at the back they are definitely susceptible going forward. You know, Mason Mount, as I said, Waghorn, Harry Wilson, Tom Lawrence. But they're all young players. They're very young players, and they seemed overawed by the occasion at Ellen Road. And that is definitely something that Leeds can tap into. You know, Calvin Phillips against Lawrence, once again, he bossed him like he has plenty of centre attacking midfielders. He bossed him. And him, you know, doing what he did to Grealish when we played against Grealish, kept keeping him quiet. I think he can do it to Lawrence. I think on his day, Lawrence is very good, but I think he seems to get in his own head a little bit. He seems to, when he's not, he's a very inconsistent player. And I think you see that flooding through the Derby County squad. You know, Harry Wilson, but does he really turn up in the big games? You know, Derby have got a torrid record against the top 6. As of right now, the top 6. Wilson's not really turned up in any of them, in particular. Mason Mount, I see him as a little bit more of a B-Tech Wilson, but he's got a very big role to play. Pace on the wings. But, you know, if Stuart Dallas plays like he has been playing in the last couple of games, the occasion's not overawed Stuart. He's been great against Villa. He was great against Ipswich. And I say great with a pinch of salt, but he's definitely been one of the better players in the cohort of Leeds United players, which doesn't take a lot, does it? But, you know, if you're an opposition fan and you're coming on here, you just look at the 2 games. You know, Ipswich, who are diabolical, as a lot of Ipswich fans will be testament to. They've not been great this season. They deserve to go down. But then we played Villa and we stopped Villa's 10-match winning run. We were the better side in that game. I do feel personally, I've been to both Villa games and I do feel that we were the better side. I'm a very unbiased individual. I never slight to bias, but I do feel we've definitely been the better team against Villa. West Brom, 50% a game. Obviously, the other game were a lot better, but West Brom had Harvey Barnes in that game, and I think they look completely different when Barnes has gone. And Derby, obviously, we've done Derby twice, so there's definitely an advantage there psychologically for Leeds. I do think it plays a little bit in the players and the fans' minds, definitely. And you'll see what Kian has to say about that a little bit later on in the video. But you know, it's a huge game for both teams, and I'd be happy with the draw. I would. I've said on the podcast earlier on, I think it'll be a 1-1 draw, and I do. I think it'll be a 1-1 or a 2-1 Derby win, but I think we'll get them back to Ellen Road, and I think we will beat them. I think the inexperience of the Derby team, they've never... I said at the start of the video that they've been in playoff positions, but I don't know if they've sort of been in front of an Ellen Road crowd. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying it's big. It's Pride Park, excellent ground. You know, they've got a great atmosphere. I do like Derby as a club. They're a big club, but the hostility of everything last time, it just seemed to get to the players. There's a lot of inexperience there. You know, you look at Mount, you look at Wilson, you look at Tom Lawrence, and they just seemed overawed by the experience. Obviously, Tamori at the back. But, you know, I don't know if Ashley Cole's been playing for them. I can't really give, you know, I'm not literally the Derby PR, but I don't know if Ashley Cole's been playing for them. If he does play in this game, he's going to bring a little bit more experience, but it's going to be interesting how Leeds set up. I know a lot of people don't agree with this, but I would be cautious, but yet willing to start Jack Clarke. I think he just tore them apart last time, and I think we're not giving Clarke enough. You know, a lot of people say, wow, well, when he's come on, he's not done anything. But it's like, okay, but you've got to give him a little bit of a chance. And like I said, I actually said it, if you mirrored my Derby preview, I said it last time, if you start him, we can always take him off. But he offers a lot more threat, And I think you've either got to start left wing. I'd be tempted to start Roberts there, or I'd be tempted to start Clarke there, cutting in like he did against Villa and like he has done against Derby. That's what I would prefer anyway, but I think he's just going to stick with Harrison. I do wonder with Harrison if when we got him on loan that there's something in his contract about him having to play a certain amount of games. I know Pep Guardiola's done that before with his players, with his youth players. He's done it at Barcelona as well. So I wonder if that is the reason that Bielsa has to play him, because tactically, strategically, analytically, there is no reason for us to carry on playing Jack Harrison in that position. Gives us a little bit more balance by the fact he's left-footed, but we've seen Clarke on even that left-hand side. We've seen Roberts on that left-hand side cause more of an impact than Jack Harrison has in probably about 800 minutes of football. But that's just what I think anyway. I'm going to pass you on to Kian now. Ask him a set of like sort of standardised questions, what he thinks. Let me know. Thank you to Kian as well. Thank you for Ryan and Darren Harper for having me on the LS11 podcast. As I said, go check that out and make sure you like this video, please. As I said at the start, gives us a really good indication of whether or not you like the videos or whether you don't like the videos. Kian, brilliant. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. I'll put the link in the description below. I'll catch you later. Come on, Leeds, let's do it. If you're at Derby away, come find me and Joe. We're going to be together there. And yeah, come and see us, guys. All right, catch you in a bit. Cheers.
What's going on, people? Some of you Leeds fans may recognise me. My name's Kian Marley, and as you guys can tell by the colours, you probably won't want to be hearing this, but I am a Derby County fan. So going to be answering a few questions that Conor from Leeds TV has asked going into the game match preview, Derby County versus Leeds United. What a massive game this is going to be. Playoff semi-final, first leg at Pride Park. Well, I definitely think confidence with the Rams. Both times you played us, you got 6 points from 6, and you bullied us, to be fair. We had nothing going forward, and yeah, even our strikers. I mean, at that time, Frank Lampard, some of you guys refer to him as Fat Frank, but yeah, he used to play Jack Marriot against Leeds, and one thing I noticed was he used to get bullied by the likes of Janssen and Cooper, who I might add have been really good this season. But we just didn't have that physicality, especially at Ellen Road, when you have all like 40,000 Leeds fans. I don't think our players or fans, to be fair, can handle it. But now we're used to it, and hopefully we'll go to Ellen Road and, you know, give a sucker punch, try and get a result at Ellen Road. It'll be absolutely unreal, and I don't think we're expecting anything from the game. We're going in as massive underdogs, both at Pride Park and Ellen Road. So one thing that has changed, I'd say the confidence, the morale for our team. But one thing I've noticed is, in these big games, don't get me wrong, he is a quality player on loan from Liverpool. But one thing I've noticed is, in these big games, when the chips are down, and you know, some of you Leeds fans will know, from when we went to Ellen Road, Leeds, he didn't really turn up at all, really. When the chips are down, the fans are singing against him. To be fair, that's like a lot of players in our club, really. They're young, they've not really got that much experience compared to the Leeds team that has got tons of experience in there, and they're just older as well. But yeah, he got bullied last time, and against Swansea as well. He's had quite a few games this season where he could have done much better than what he actually did. But when it does matter, to be fair, he has actually been alright. I definitely think it does. You know, I've never been to Leeds and we've won. I've been 2 or 3 times now. I've never been and we've won. And we've never really got a really good result at home against Leeds. They come in their numbers, away and at home, and they're really vocal. They're definitely going to be up for it in the playoffs. Don't get me wrong, we'll be loud as well. We'll come up in our numbers, hopefully. But Leeds fans, Ellen Road is going to be rocking. I think that game's on Wednesday night. And then when you guys come down to Pride Park, obviously you're going to sell out. I think Ellen Road, I saw LUFC vlogger or something on his Twitter that they were queuing up for tickets already. So to be fair, Leeds have class support, up there with the best, if not the best, in the Championship, or in England, to be fair. So will that play a big part in the fans' minds? Some it will, definitely, because you'll just have fears of, you just have fears of losing 2-0, them doing us on the counter, and, you know, with the quality that they have in their team. But we definitely go in with more confidence. We've got more momentum going in. We've won quite a few games on the bounce now, unbeaten, and we've only lost 1 game in our last 12. What a record that is to have going into the playoffs. But the playoffs are a lottery, so you never know. I mean, we're going in as the underdogs. Leeds are going in, I'd say, Leeds or Villa are going in as the teams to beat. It's really going to be a proper clash, this game is going to be. I think the players are going to use the 6-1 on aggregate as motivation. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping for. Frank Lampard's going to try and match fire with fire, and hopefully we'll go for it. May the best team win. All of you guys, don't forget to subscribe to All Leeds TV. And while you're at it, if you could drop me a sub, I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, don't forget to check my matchday vlog, and may the best team win. Up the boys.